In this video, I'm going to show you how to measure up for a new UPVC or composite door. Now we've got a prime opportunity here because we've actually taken the old door out, so it's really easy to show you how to measure up. Now the first thing is you're going to need to work out when you order a new door. You may be thinking about your measurements, but you're also going to need to know which side it's hinged on, what ironmonger you're going to choose. You need to know about your thresher or sill, your internal and external colour, as those two can be different. You need to know if there's any glazing on your door. Our new door there has got an obscured glazing panel in the middle. You also need to decide whether you want a letterbox or some numbers on the door. And then finally, we also need to calculate our width and our height. Now, one thing to just mention at this point is you need to be very careful when working out your height, because you'll need to add a sill on to the bottom of your door if you've not already got one. So you need to obviously deduct that from the overall height, but we'll discuss that in more detail later. You'll notice that I've written here, viewed from the outside. It's very important that when you give your measurements for your door, you measure it from either the inside or the outside. I always found it easier to work from the outside. Our old door was hinged on the left-hand side, so we're going to keep that the same, viewed from the outside. We're just going to put a mark on here saying left. So now we know it's hinged on that side. Our ironmongery, we've decided for this job we want black. You can see on our new door there, we've got a black handle on there. It's next on the list, we've got a thresher. So your thresher is actually at the bottom of the door. We've opted for a low-lying thresher because we don't want too much of a step up into the property. These are always better if you've got disabled access or you're fitting a door for someone who's elderly and doesn't want a big step that they can potentially trip over. So if you want a low step on your UPVC or composite door, your thresher wants to be low, wants to be low lying. Your sill, so you've a couple of different options when it comes to your sill. Your sill will actually go under your thresher. You can sit your thresher straight onto your stone sill, but I always like to put a plastic thresher underneath these, as it reduces the chances of any water running back under the door. So you have a couple of options when it comes to your sill. I've got two options here. So we've got this sill that just sit under the door. One important thing to bear in mind is that your sills always raise the door up by 30 millimeters. This is quite fairly standard across all UPVC and composite door manufacturers. So just bear in mind, your sill will alter your door height by 30 mil. You have a load of different styles of sill. They're all varying different widths. This is what we call a stub sill. You can see that's 90 millimeters wide. This is a normal 150 sill that you'd find on most windows and doors. So it's up to you whether you want a stub sill or a longer sill. Always remember, when you're working out for your sill, you need to deduct that from your overall height. So it's very important to bear in mind that you'll lose 30 millimeters due to your sill. It doesn't matter which style you choose, they vary in width, but the height of these is always 30 millimeters. Important thing to bear in mind is that you can see these sills are the exact same color as our door, so it's important you get a matching sill to your door. Our specific door is white on the inside, so you'll notice that our sill is white on the inside and then cream on the outside, and that brings us on nicely to our door color. So we've got two colors, we've got an internal color and an external color. You might be thinking that most UPVC doors are all one color, but that's not often the case. Normally have an internal and external colour, and in the most common circumstances the internal colour is usually white and the external colour is normally anything of the customer's choice. In our case we've gone for cream. I've already mentioned glazing, and as you can see we've got an obscured vision panel here, so our customer can sort of roughly see who's at the door before opening it, and we've got our classic black ironmongery. They decided not to opt for a letterbox, but it's important that you get your letterbox installed when you specify your door. You don't want to have to cut your letterbox in yourself at a later date if you've forgotten about it. So in our particular case, we've got no letterbox. And the customer didn't specify a number, so we've got no door number. Now the important bit you really need to pay attention for, and that's working out your width and your height. We'll go with the width first, because when you give your dimensions to your door supplier, they always like the width to be provided first, followed by the height. So you might have seen this before on other videos, but it's always important to measure width at a few different points. This is especially important in our scenario as we've got this random stonework. So I'm going to take three measurements. Got 900 there, 900 there, and we've got 900 there. So we've got roughly 900 at the top, at the middle and at the bottom, but we also want to make sure that none of this stonework sticks out particularly far. You notice that this top piece of stonework sticks out a bit, but our door frame is actually going to slot in behind that. So overall, our narrowest point is actually going to be 900. Although it looks very uneven, we do have a clear 900 gap. And then we're actually going to knock 10 mil off that so that we're ensuring that our UPVC or composite door fits into place. So we've measured it, we've got 900, we're just going to knock 10 mil off. We've got a width of 890. Represent that in millimeters. It really can confuse people if you do it in centimeters. The trade and people in the business tend to use millimeters, so I'd stick with that. Ignore what you learnt at school about centimeters. If you go with millimeters, hopefully everyone should know what you're talking about. And next we need to work out our height, but we also need to be really aware that we've got a sill to either include or exclude from this measurement. So we're going to take our measurements now for our height. We're going to measure it again in 3 places. Make sure your tape measures firmly on the stone sill, because this is the overall external dimensions. So we've got 2015, 2015, and 2015. So we'll make a note of that. So we've got 890 in width and 2015 in height, but we also need to be aware we need to deduct our sill from that. So we've put a little note there. We've made sure that we deduct our sill from our 2015 when we order our composite window or door. Then all we need to do is take that to our composite or UPVC door supplier, and then with all the information there that we need to specify our door. The main important measurements here are our width and our height. So we'll just check on our new door, which has just arrived, whether we've got our measurements correct. So we've got our width there at 890, which is what we specified there, 890 in width. And we've got our height of 1985. The reason our height is 1985 is because we've deducted 30 mil off this 2015 measurement here to allow for our sill. So don't panic if your door and frame comes slightly shorter, because you've always got to remember it's going to have 30 mil added on when you put a sill on. So I highly recommend using a sill, because it just helps turn the water away. Any water that runs down the face of the door gets sent away off the stonework and out away from your property. If you don't have a sill and you've just got a low lying thresher like this, you run the risk of water trickling back into the property. So I hope that's shown you how to measure up for a new door. If you want to see how to fit a new composite door, or you want to see how to remove an old door casing, check out our other videos. Thanks for watching.